Hi, welcome back to my channel, Feel the Light. In today's video, I'm going to discuss about our EQ versus our IQ. That is, Streetsmarts versus Booksmarts. Just as we have created and devised extensive IQ tests for cognitive intelligence, similarly, we should spend the same amount of time, resources, and effort to understand our emotions and to measure our emotional intelligence. And this is precisely why it matters what we measure. In this video, I will discuss how and why, even as we spend thousands and thousands of hours learning mathematics and science, we are also already in the fourth industrial revolution and standing on the brink of a quantum phenomenal technological breakthrough. Yet, we are increasingly disconnected, polarized, lonelier, more stressed up, and more frustrated than ever before. How? Why? It is important more than ever to focus on our emotional intelligence or EQ as much as we continue to develop our cognitive intelligence or IQ. In the Theory of Evolution, 1859, Charles Darwin said, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change." In other words, it is our ability to adapt and adjust to changing dynamic environments that will definitely ensure we are most likely to survive, thrive, and succeed. Once upon a time, it has always been believed that in order to succeed spectacularly in life, we need to be highly intelligent and develop high IQ. However, we soon realize that as our IQ increases to an all-time high, we become more disconnected, more lonely, more stressed out, more unhappy. What happened? EI or emotional intelligence has finally gained wide acceptance and also has a strong impact in a number of areas, including the business world. Some employers have even incorporated EI tests into their application and interview processes with the belief that someone high in emotional intelligence would make a better leader or co-worker. Many companies have now mandated EI training and utilize EQ tests as part of their hiring process. It has now been widely accepted that individuals with strong leadership potential tend to be more emotionally intelligent. Thus, a high EQ is an important quality for business leaders and managers. Let's begin with comparing IQ or intelligence quotient versus EQ, emotional quotient. That is, book smarts versus street smarts. All these times, IQ is still recognized as an important element of success and academic achievement. It is widely accepted that people with high IQ typically do well in school, earn more, and are healthier. But today, experts recognize IQ is not the only determinant of life success. We spend thousands and thousands of hours learning mathematics and science, right from kindergarten to university. But how many hours do we spend learning about our emotions, how they work in our brains and bodies, how to recognize, label, and transform them? For most people, almost None. The fourth industrial revolution is characterized by robotics, smartphones, quantum computing, digital twins, microbots performing heart surgery, artificial intelligence, cars that can brake themselves, autonomous vehicles, etc. We stand at the brink of a technological revolution that will fundamentally change and alter the way we live, work, and relate to one another. Yet we are lonelier, more frustrated, and more disconnected. It is not that our education system has failed. It is just that the education system is very successful at improving what it values, measures, and teaches. It can't be denied that there is a dramatic rise in cognitive intelligence and digital revolution over the past 100 years. Let's reflect for a moment. What would happen if we adopt a different, more balanced approach for the next 100 years? What would it look like if we invest the same resources in emotional intelligence as we do in cognitive intelligence? Let's dwell deeper into what actually is IQ. It is considered the basic standard in society of how smart someone is and how successful they can be. IQ has become and is a cultural obsession such that we begin to test for IQ at earlier and earlier ages. Scientists, manufacturers, designers have produced thousands upon thousands of products over the years that promise to make your child intelligent, possibly the next Einstein. School curriculums have gravitated towards prioritizing these skills, and the end result, IQ has steadily increased tremendously over the past century. IQ tests basically measures verbal processing, logical reasoning abilities, mathematical problem solving, working memory, etc. However, over time, it has been acknowledged by many experts that such IQ tests have many limitations. Yet it was never taken into consideration when designing IQ tests that solving emotional problems is a type of intelligence we use all the time. But because this occurs in landscapes with constantly changing variables, it isn't as easy to measure as cognitive intelligence. So for the most parts, we don't even try to measure emotional intelligence. Dan Goleman is the first person to popularize the case against IQ as the ultimate measure of success. In his best-selling book, EI, Why It Matters More Than IQ. He argues IQ accounts for only 20% of a person's success, and a growing body of evidence has confirmed his hypothesis. EQ is twice as predictive of performance as IQ. An experiment was conducted with a large randomized and global sample of 75,000 individuals. It was found that those who score low on EQ did not score high on success. Those who score high on EQ also score high on success. People with high emotional intelligence are likely to be doing well, effective at work, to have strong relationships, good health, and a high quality of life. People with low emotional intelligence are more likely to be suffering in poor health and unhappy with their social connections. It can't be denied that cognitive intelligence has led to incredible advancements and technological mastery. But we get what we measure, and now we are only focusing on half of the equation. We don't need more powerful weapons or smarter computers or more advanced machines. Our biggest problems today are emotional and relational. However, investing in EQ doesn't mean abandoning IQ. Social and emotional learning enables and improves cognitive learning. So these two types of intelligence need to work together. We need to pay as much focus and attention on emotional intelligence as well as cognitive intelligence. We really need to focus more on EQ besides IQ, so people won't report feeling disconnected, stressed out, lost, disoriented, and lonely. What do we need to value, prioritize, measure, and teach to get to where we want to go? What internal capacities do we need to develop and teach the next generation so they feel a sense of purpose, belonging, and hope? Definitely, emotional intelligence skills are critically needed more than ever. Can emotional intelligence be learned? Definitely yes. Life success is a result of many factors, not just IQ. Both IQ and EQ undoubtedly play roles in influencing overall success besides health, wellness, and happiness. Rather than focusing on which factors might have a more dominant influence, the greatest benefit may lie in learning to improve skills in multiple areas, not just one area. So ultimately, just as we spend time, effort, and resources to develop our IQ, remember also to spend the same amount of time, effort, and resources in understanding our emotions and developing our emotional intelligence. Our equation for success should be balanced between IQ and cognitive intelligence, together with EQ and emotional intelligence. Finally, when reason and logic tells you one thing and emotion tells you another, emotions hold sway in the short term. It is not that the power of reasoning is weak. It's just that the power of emotion is so strong. Let us know whether you agree that IQ should balance out with EQ by commenting below. Do like us and subscribe so you will receive notifications of more insightful videos. Take care, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.